What if the biggest reason most people never reach financial independence isn't low income? What if it's not bad luck, the economy, or a lack of opportunity, but a few small habits repeated every day, in the wrong direction? Many people believe they need a huge salary, a perfect plan, or a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to build wealth. But the truth is far less dramatic, and far more empowering. Financial independence is rarely built in one big moment. It's built quietly, through small, consistent steps that most people underestimate, and eventually abandon. In this video, I'm going to walk you through simple, practical steps that can slowly move you from financial stress to financial control, steps that don't require being rich, lucky, or financially gifted. Just to be clear before we begin, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not a personal finance or investment expert. I'm simply sharing what I've learned through real-life experiences, combined with reading, research, and continuous learning about money and financial behavior. Nothing here is a magic formula. But if you stay until the end, you'll understand why small steps matter more than big promises, how to avoid common traps that delay freedom, and how to start building a system that works for you, even if you feel behind right now. Because in the end, financial independence doesn't start with more money. It starts with better decisions, made consistently. Let's begin. Chapter 1, Where Financial Independence Really Begins. Many people start planning their finances with a single goal in mind, building enough wealth to enjoy a comfortable retirement. But for our community in the United States, financial independence goes far beyond simply stopping work one day. At its core, it's about something much deeper, the freedom to choose. The truth is, not everyone dreams of retiring in the traditional sense. You might genuinely love what you do and want to stay active, exploring new projects and challenges. Real financial independence means you work because you want to, not because you have to. It's the key that opens the door to following your passions, starting a business, spending more time with family, or learning new skills, all with a solid foundation of security beneath you. So where do our money habits come from? They don't appear out of nowhere. In many cases, they're a quiet financial inheritance passed down from our families. It could be the habit of paying bills on time, the comfort, or discomfort, with taking on debt, or whether saving for emergencies was encouraged or ignored. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to manage money so naturally, while others are constantly struggling to keep up with bills? Recognizing where your own habits come from is the first, and most powerful, step. And if you realize that some of those habits aren't serving your future, there's no better moment than now to start building a new relationship with money. Because financial independence, in the end, isn't a magic number or a one-size-fits-all destination. It's a state that depends directly on your personal goals and your lifestyle, both of which will change over time. To reach it, however, we rely on a few fundamental pillars. The first is building income-generating assets, things like stocks, bonds, real estate, or a business, that have the potential to produce enough income to cover your living expenses over the long term. Ideally, this becomes passive income, money that flows without you constantly trading hours for dollars, such as dividends, rental income, or investment returns. With this solid base in place, you gain true freedom of choice. That means making life and career decisions based on what genuinely fulfills you, not just on the paycheck a job offers. It could mean switching to a more meaningful career, working part-time, dedicating time to volunteering, or traveling more. At the same time, this state brings security and resilience. Your net worth becomes strong enough to withstand market fluctuations or economic downturns, without you relying entirely on an active salary to survive. But getting there requires a plan. And every great journey starts with small, concrete steps, focused on what you can control right here and now, the money coming in, the money going out, and where it's actually going. The first step is calculating your net worth. Think of it as the thermometer of your financial health. It's a simple calculation: everything you own, your assets, like bank accounts, investments, a 401k, the value of your car or home, minus everything you owe, your liabilities, such as a mortgage, car loans, credit card debt, and student loans. Subtract your debts from your assets, and you have your number. Tracking your net worth regularly is one of the clearest ways to measure real progress. At the same time, you need to track where every dollar goes. You can't manage what you don't measure. For 1 month, commit to recording all your expenses, no exceptions, whether in an app, a spreadsheet, or a notebook. Then categorize them: housing, transportation, food, entertainment. This exercise reveals patterns and shows you, very clearly, where optimization is possible. With that information in hand, you're ready for the third step: creating a budget that works for you. A budget isn't a prison, it's a freedom plan that gives every dollar a purpose. Start by calculating your monthly take-home income. List your fixed, essential expenses like rent or mortgage, utilities, and insurance. Then prioritize your goals. Automate contributions to retirement accounts like an IRA or 401k, and to your emergency fund. Only after that should you set realistic limits for variable spending like entertainment and shopping. And remember, a budget is a living tool. Review and adjust it monthly. A great starting framework is the 50-30-20 rule. To speed up your journey, keep a few powerful strategies in mind. The most direct one is increasing the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That could mean advancing your career, building a side hustle, or cutting major expenses. Like considering a move to a lower cost of living area. Eliminating high-interest debt, especially credit card debt, is critical. Every dollar paid in interest is a dollar that could be working for you instead. Always plan for the unexpected. In the US, it's essential to think about how you'll cover health insurance if early retirement is part of your goal, and to account for the long-term impact of inflation. A strong emergency fund is non-negotiable. And never underestimate the power of learning and support. Share your goals with someone you trust, invest in your financial education, and if needed, don't hesitate to seek guidance from a professional financial planner. Remember, the journey to financial independence is built through consistency, not isolated heroic moves. Start with one small step today, whether it's calculating your net worth or simply tracking your spending for a week. Every conscious decision brings you closer to the freedom of living life entirely on your own terms. Chapter 2: What Financial Independence Really Means. At its core, financial independence is about one thing: living life on your own terms, free from the constant anxiety that money can create. It's the practical ability to make life decisions based on your deepest values and desires, not on the limitations of your bank account. For many of us, it helps to understand that there are two important milestones on this journey, and they're often confused. The first major milestone is what we can call financial freedom. Picture reaching a point where your income and your reserves, your savings, your investments, your emergency fund, are enough to support your lifestyle and cover your expenses without relying on debt. You can finally breathe. Money is there for the essentials, and also for the things that bring joy, like travel and hobbies. You have room to move. You have options. The next stage, which is the ultimate goal for many people, is full financial independence. This is the highest level of self-sufficiency. At this stage, you no longer need external sources of income like a traditional paycheck. Your passive income, the income generated by your investments, sustains you indefinitely. This is what makes true early retirement possible, or simply the choice not to work at all. But it also requires careful planning and a long-term mindset. Think of it like a climb. First, you reach base camp, financial freedom, where you recover, stabilize, and plan your next move. Then, you push toward the summit of complete independence. And why is all of this worth the effort? Because the benefits are deeply real. Take a moment and imagine this. What would you do if financial pressure simply disappeared? Would you keep the same job? The same routine? The same habits? Financial independence matters because it transforms your quality of life in very tangible ways. It dramatically reduces stress, the constant worry about bills and debt fades, freeing up your mental health. It gives you the time and security to pursue passions, whether that means starting a business, changing careers, or dedicating yourself to a personal project. Your decisions are guided by what truly matters to you, not by the paycheck at the end of the month. It offers a level of balance and flexibility that most people never experience, designing your own schedule, working part-time, taking a sabbatical, or simply spending more time with the people you love. It also creates a foundation of security for your family and the resilience to face any emergency or economic downturn with confidence. As one financial advisor from Insignia put it perfectly, when you achieve financial freedom, you no longer work for money. Instead, your money works for you, opening doors to opportunities you never thought were possible. So how do we begin moving closer to this goal? Everything rests on 3 non-negotiable pillars. The first pillar is breaking free from debt. This is your first act of financial emancipation. You simply cannot be truly independent while paying interest to other people. Debt controls your options and dramatically slows down wealth creation. The action here is clear: choose a strategy, like the avalanche method or the snowball method. Focus first on high-interest debt, especially credit cards. Every debt you eliminate frees up cash that can be immediately redirected toward building your net worth. The second pillar is building an emergency fund. This is your essential safety cushion. True independence means never needing to rely on expensive loans during a crisis. The key action here is automation. Open a separate account, ideally a high-yield savings account, and set up automatic monthly transfers. Start with whatever amount you can, even if it's small. The goal is to build 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. As you eliminate debt, you can gradually increase your contributions. The third pillar is investing in your future, at your own pace. Stepping away from work, partially or completely, is only possible if your resources last a lifetime. To make that happen, you need to put time on your side. The action is to maximize the use of tax-advantaged retirement accounts we have here in the US, such as a 401k, especially if your employer offers a match, which is essentially free money, and a Roth IRA or traditional IRA. The goal is not to get rich quickly, but to grow steadily and generate passive income over time. Being on track means contributing automatically and consistently, and reviewing your strategy once a year. Now, we need to address some common misconceptions, because they're major obstacles. One of the biggest myths is believing that a high income automatically leads to independence. It doesn't. A study by Bank of America showed that nearly 50% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, including high-income professionals. The issue isn't how much you earn, but where that money goes. Consistently spending more than you make, inflating your lifestyle with bigger homes, more expensive cars, and constant upgrades, is what prevents real wealth from being built. Another misconception is thinking this journey is about total deprivation. It's not. It's about awareness and prioritization. It's about identifying what truly brings value and happiness to your life and directing your resources toward that, while cutting only what's unnecessary and doesn't add real joy. And finally, financial independence isn't just for retirees. It's about options. It's just as powerful for someone who wants to change careers, start a business, take a gap year, or focus on philanthropic work, as it is for someone who dreams of never having to work again. In the end, financial independence is the ultimate expression of control over your life and your time. It begins with a mindset shift, is built brick by brick on practical pillars, becoming debt-free, building reserves, and investing consistently, and is achieved when we reject the myths that confuse spending with prosperity. Your journey will be unique, but the destination is the same for everyone, the unmatched freedom of being the author of your own story. Chapter 3, Small Step 1, Take control of your cash flow. Dealing with money can seem simple on the surface, but the truth is that without clear management, small mistakes can quietly turn into big problems. Suddenly, you no longer know where your paycheck went. Debt starts to creep in. And opportunities that could have changed your future slip right past you. Think about it this way, just like any successful business needs to closely monitor its cash flow to survive and grow, you are the CEO of your own personal finances. And the health of your most important business, your life, depends entirely on having a healthy cash flow. This is the first and most powerful small step, understanding and taking command of every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out of your account. So what does cash flow actually mean in everyday life? In simple terms, it's the movement of your money over time. It's the money coming in, your paycheck, freelance income, bonuses, dividends, refunds. And it's the money going out, everything you spend, rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, subscriptions, entertainment, and debt payments. What comes out of this back and forth determines your financial direction. If your cash flow is positive, it means more money is coming in than going out. That surplus is the oxygen of financial freedom, it's what allows you to save, invest, and build wealth. A negative cash flow, on the other hand, is a red flag. It means you're spending more than you earn, which almost always leads to expensive credit or draining your savings, creating a dangerous cycle of debt. And why is controlling cash flow so fundamental? Think of it as the heartbeat of your financial life. Managing it matters for 4 key reasons. First, it prevents crises by ensuring essential obligations like rent and bills are paid on time. Second, it creates deep peace of mind. Knowing you live within your means is one of the strongest antidotes to financial stress. Third, it fuels freedom. That monthly surplus is exactly what you redirect toward your emergency fund, your retirement accounts like a 401k or IRA, and your investments. And finally, it gives you real options, allowing you to plan major purchases or career transitions without going into debt, because you can anticipate challenges instead of reacting to them. The good news is that taking control of your cash flow is far more practical and freeing than it sounds. You can start right now with 3 simple steps. Step 1 is creating your personal cash flow forecast. Don't wait passively until the end of the month to see the damage. Be proactive. Use a spreadsheet or an app to list all expected income and expenses for the coming month. Include seasonal expenses you know are coming, like higher heating bills in winter or your car insurance renewal. The goal is to see in advance whether the month will end in a positive, and adjust your spending before it happens. Next, in step 2, implement a 90-day cash flow plan. Focus on the short term to gain real control. For 1 week, track your spending daily. After that, continue tracking weekly. Label every dollar as either a need or a want. This level of clarity reveals invisible leaks in your finances. Those unused streaming subscriptions are a classic example. Finally, step 3 is to automate and review. Full control doesn't mean micromanaging forever. Automate what's healthy and repetitive. Set up automatic transfers to savings as soon as your paycheck hits, and put fixed bills on autopay. Then, schedule a weekly financial check-in of just 15 minutes. In that time, you review whether you're following the plan and make small adjustments if something goes off track. When you're in control of your cash flow, the benefits are immediate and powerful. You make decisions intentionally, guiding your money based on your goals instead of impulse. You gain a level of confidence that comes from knowing exactly where you stand, what needs to be paid, and when money is coming in. And most importantly, you're prepared for the unexpected. Everyone faces cash gaps, a flat tire, a dental visit, an unplanned expense. People with control see these events coming, or handle them calmly when they happen, temporarily tightening other expenses or using their emergency fund exactly as intended. In the end, cash flow is the lifeblood of your journey. Managing it well has nothing to do with restriction, it has everything to do with empowerment. Don't worry if forecasting and tracking don't feel natural at first. Like any skill, this gets easier with practice. Start small. Commit to tracking your spending for just 1 week. That single action will already put you firmly in the driver's seat of your finances. Remember, every major financial achievement in history began with the conscious control of a single dollar. This is your first small step, and it may be the most transformative one of all. If this chapter helped you see your money differently, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps the content reach more people who are trying to take control of their financial lives. And if you want to go deeper, leave a comment sharing which expense surprised you the most when you started tracking your cash flow. I read every comment, and your experience might help someone else take their first small step too. Chapter 4, Small Step 2, Build a Basic Financial Buffer. Imagine this scenario: your car breaks down tomorrow, or an unexpected medical bill shows up out of nowhere. Without a plan, these surprises force you into stressful decisions, relying on high-interest credit cards, taking out loans, or worse, using money that was meant for rent or your mortgage. Suddenly, control disappears, and stress takes over your financial life. That's exactly why your second small step is absolutely essential. Building a dedicated financial safety net. This isn't just saving for emergencies in a vague way. It's the intentional act of creating a buffer for life's inevitable bumps. It's what turns a potentially devastating financial crisis into a simple administrative inconvenience, something you handle calmly and move on from. So what exactly is this safety net? Commonly called an emergency fund, it's a pool of money you set aside exclusively for true, unexpected expenses. This is important. It's not for dream vacations, not for the latest tech gadget, and not for planned purchases. Think of it as the circuit breaker of your personal financial system. Its role has three critical functions. First, it keeps you out of debt by allowing you to cover surprises without expensive credit. Second, it provides stability, protecting you in case of job loss or a sudden drop in income. And third, it gives you peace of mind. Knowing you're covered dramatically reduces everyday financial anxiety. The next question is inevitable: how much is enough? The classic and widely accepted guideline is to save the equivalent of 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. But your final target is deeply personal. To define it, ask yourself a few key questions. How stable is my income? Freelancers and contractors often need a larger cushion, 6 months or more, while someone with a very stable job might start with 3. What are my responsibilities? Supporting a family, having a mortgage, or caring for dependents usually requires a bigger buffer. And finally, what is my personal risk tolerance? Do you sleep well knowing you have 3 months saved, or do you need 9 months to feel truly secure? If that final number feels overwhelming and freezes you in place, here's a powerful and practical move: start with an initial goal of $1,000. This starter buffer is incredibly effective because it covers most common surprises. A basic car repair, an urgent medical visit, an unexpected home expense. Once this mini fund is in place, you can calmly and steadily build toward your full 3 to 6 month goal. This leads us to one of the most common dilemmas people face: should I pay off debt first, or save first? The smartest answer isn't either or, it's a phased approach that does both. In Phase 1, while continuing to make minimum payments on your debts, focus aggressively on saving that first $1,000. This creates immediate protection. In Phase 2, with that buffer in place, shift your focus to attacking and eliminating high-interest debt, especially credit card balances. Remember, every dollar you stop paying in interest is a dollar you keep. Finally, in Phase 3, once those toxic debts are gone, redirect the payments you were making toward completing your full emergency fund of 3 to 6 months. So how do you actually build this fund in practice? Follow a clear action plan. First, assess. Calculate your true monthly essentials: housing, utilities, basic food, insurance, and minimum debt payments. Ignore all non-essential spending. This is your monthly survival number. Second, set the target. Multiply that number by 3, 4, 5, or 6, depending on your situation. For example, if your essentials total $3,000 per month, a 4-month fund would be $12,000. Third, choose the right account. This money needs to be safe and accessible, but not so accessible that it's tempting to spend. The ideal place is a high-yield savings account, preferably at a different bank from your checking account. That small psychological separation reduces temptation, while the higher interest helps your money at least keep up with inflation. Fourth, automate. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your HYSA right after each paycheck hits. Treat this transfer as the most important bill of the month. Pay yourself first. Fifth, accelerate. Whenever extra money comes in, a tax refund, a work bonus, a cash gift, send a meaningful portion straight into your safety net. Sixth and finally, replenish. If you ever need to use the fund, your next top financial priority is to pause and rebuild it back to its original level. To take your financial resilience even further, adopt the mindset of layers of safety. Layer 1 is your immediate emergency fund, those 3 to 6 months of expenses in your HYSA. Once that's complete, you can create Layer 2. A separate opportunity fund for planned, larger goals like a car down payment or education. This prevents you from draining your true emergency fund. With these 2 layers in place, you reach Layer 3, long-term security, investing for retirement and wealth building with deep confidence, knowing your short and mid-term foundations are fully protected. In the end, a strong financial safety net does far more than cover unexpected bills. It gives you the confidence to make bold decisions. Changing jobs, negotiating a raise, investing calmly, because you stop operating from fear and start operating from strength. It is the unbreakable foundation on which your entire financial independence is built. So here's your invitation, start this step today. Open that high-yield savings account and schedule your first automatic transfer, even if it's just $25 or $50. This single habit, this small act of discipline, is a powerful statement to yourself and to your future. It says you're in control, you're preparing the path ahead, and you're ready not only to weather the storms, but to fully enjoy every sunny day the future has in store. Chapter 5. Small Step 3, Live below your means, even when income grows. Living below your means is probably one of the most misunderstood concepts in all of personal finance. It's not about deprivation. It's not about saying no to everything that feels good or enjoyable. Quite the opposite. It's about awareness, control, and ultimately, freedom. It's the intentional decision to spend less than you earn, not because you're forced to, but because you choose to build a solid future. It's the habit that turns a raise or an unexpected bonus into real progress, instead of just a temporary upgrade in lifestyle. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever received a raise or a sizable tax refund, and a few months later, when you checked your bank statement, that extra money had simply vanished? There's no new asset. No meaningful experience. Nothing to show for it. Just a daily lifestyle that somehow became more expensive without you noticing. This phenomenon has a name, lifestyle inflation. And it's the silent enemy of financial independence, because it steals your progress before you even realize it's happening. This third small step is about taking conscious control of that relationship between what you earn and what quietly slips through your fingers. So what does living below your means actually look like in real life? It means that at the end of the month, your total expenses are lower than your take-home income, and that the difference, that valuable margin, is actively directed toward your goals. Let's clear up a myth. This is not about living at the bare minimum. It's not about never having fun or denying yourself things that bring joy. And it's certainly not about projecting extreme frugality to others. It's about prioritizing real needs over impulsive wants. It's about maintaining a safety margin in your budget so surprises don't turn into emergencies. It's about creating space, month after month, to save and invest consistently. At its core, it's about intentional consumption, buying what truly adds value and happiness to your life, not what marketing or social pressure tells you to want. When you adopt this habit, it gives you 3 powerful advantages. The first is unshakable peace of mind. One of the biggest practical benefits is a dramatic reduction in financial stress. When your bills are covered, your emergency fund is in place, and you're no longer dependent on the next paycheck just to survive the month, a massive weight is lifted from your shoulders. You sleep better. The second advantage is real freedom of choice. This is incredibly powerful. Living below your means puts you in the driver's seat. You can consider a more fulfilling job even if it pays less. You can plan a sabbatical to study or travel. You can say no to toxic projects or environments. You can even start thinking seriously about early retirement. As one example from real-life shows, people may laugh at an old car, but someone with financial freedom doesn't have to work out of obligation. The third advantage is deeper, more meaningful satisfaction. You begin to truly appreciate what you already have. Purchases become thoughtful and intentional, not emotional reactions. And interestingly, saving for something you genuinely want often feels far more rewarding than buying it impulsively with borrowed money. So how do you put this into practice starting today? You don't need to turn your life upside down. You just need a few focused, high-impact actions. The first, and most critical, is to declare war on lifestyle inflation. Set this as a non-negotiable rule: whenever your income increases, whether through a promotion, a bonus, or the success of a side hustle, automatically direct part of that increase toward your future. A concrete example: if you receive an extra $200 per month, immediately commit to sending at least 50% of it, $100, straight into investments, such as increasing your 401k or IRA contributions, or toward aggressive debt repayment. Use the remaining portion, if needed, to make small lifestyle improvements. This ensures your financial progress accelerates alongside your career. The second action is to adopt the 72-hour rule for spending desires. To fight impulse purchases, the fuel of lifestyle inflation, build in a mandatory pause. The rule is simple: before making any non-essential purchase above a certain amount you choose, say $100, wait 72 hours. If after 3 days you still feel the item fits your budget, aligns with your values, and truly matters to you, then go ahead. You'll be surprised how many wants disappear after this cooling-off period. The third action is to redefine comfort and fun. Spending less does not mean enjoying life less. It means being more intentional and more creative. Try the challenge of shopping your own kitchen. Plan meals based on what you already have before going to the grocery store. Look for low-cost entertainment options, your public library, parks, community events, or sharing streaming subscriptions instead of frequent expensive outings. And don't forget optimization. Review your car and home insurance, negotiate your internet and phone bills, and question every monthly subscription leaving your account. The fourth step, and perhaps the most important long-term, is to find your personal why. Discipline is hard to maintain without a deeper reason. Sit down and clearly write why you want to live below your means. Maybe it's, I want to retire at 55, I want to pay cash for my next car in 3 years, or, I want enough security so my partner can work less. Put that reminder somewhere you see every day, on your bathroom mirror or as your phone wallpaper. The fifth and final step is learning to ignore the Joneses. Social pressure to keep up appearances is real and powerful, but it comes at a huge financial and emotional cost. Be honest but firm with friends and family about your goals. A simple, I'm really focused on some financial goals right now, is usually enough. Always remember, you see other people's purchases, but you don't see their debt. Your race is your own. Stay focused on it. In the end, living below your means isn't the goal by itself. It's the foundational skill that allows every other step toward financial independence to work. It creates the surplus, the fuel. That builds your emergency fund, powers your investments, and turns long-term dreams into reality. Far from being a punishment, it's one of the greatest acts of care you can give your future self. It's the strongest guarantee that as your income grows, your freedom and financial security will grow even faster. So here's your invitation: start this small step today by reevaluating just one recurring expense this week. It might be your daily coffee, a subscription you no longer use, or a weekly restaurant habit. That single moment of awareness, that simple question of, "Does this still serve me?" is already the beginning of a new journey toward a financially powerful, self-directed, and truly free life. Important note: I'm not a financial advisor or a financial expert. I'm simply sharing lessons from my everyday experiences over the years, along with insights I've gained through consistent reading and research on personal finance. Use this information as education and inspiration, and always make decisions that fit your own situation. Chapter 6: Common Mistakes That Delay Financial Independence. Financial growth, as we've learned throughout this journey, is never just about how much money comes into your account. It depends critically on the decisions you make, and just as importantly, on the decisions you delay or avoid altogether. Many people, often without realizing it, fall into common traps that silently push financial independence further and further away, sometimes by years or even decades. This final chapter is about identifying those mistakes and correcting them. Because with awareness and discipline applied in the right places, it's entirely possible to keep your financial plan firmly on track. One of the most costly mistakes of all is waiting for the perfect moment to start investing. This is easily the number one delay factor. The feeling of not being ready enough or the belief that you need a large amount of money before you begin are powerful illusions. While you wait, you are losing the most valuable asset you have: time. Thanks to compound interest, delaying your start by just 5 years can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars less in retirement. The solution is surprisingly simple: start now, even if it's small. Use the tools already available, such as tax-advantaged accounts like a Roth IRA or your employer's 401k. The habit of investing consistently matters far more than the size of your first contribution. As Warren Buffett famously said, "Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving." Closely connected to this is another major mistake: underestimating the absolute importance of an emergency fund. Emergencies are part of life, and seeing them as temporary setbacks is normal. But allowing them to destroy your long-term investments because you weren't prepared is completely avoidable. Without a cushion of 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, you're forced into bad decisions. Like pulling money out of retirement accounts and paying penalties, or relying on high-interest credit cards. The solution is to make your emergency fund a top priority, right after covering basic living expenses. Keep it safe, separate, and untouched in a high-yield savings account, where it remains accessible but protected. Debt is another area where costly mistakes often occur, especially when credit starts to feel like free money. Personal loans, long-term car financing, and unused credit card limits are not extensions of your income. They are financial tools, and very expensive ones. Focusing only on the monthly payment while ignoring the total cost of the loan over time is a dangerous habit. Before taking on debt, ask yourself a simple question: will this item still be worth twice its price by the time I finish paying for it? And make this a rule. Always prioritize paying off high-interest debt before directing money toward new investments. Another common misconception is thinking that insurance is merely an expense rather than protection. Life insurance, disability insurance, health coverage, and property insurance are not optional when you're building something meaningful. These are the safety nets that protect everything you're working so hard to create from a single unexpected event. A yearly review of your coverage can make a massive difference. For those with dependents, term life insurance is affordable and essential. Disability insurance is even more critical, because it protects your greatest asset of all, your ability to earn an income. Emotions also play a powerful role in delaying financial independence. Panic selling during market downturns or buying aggressively during periods of excitement almost guarantees poor results. Emotional investing turns normal market fluctuations into permanent losses. The solution is to build a clear investment strategy based on your goals and time horizon, then automate it. The steady discipline of investing regularly, through both highs and lows, known as dollar-cost averaging, is one of the strongest defenses against emotional decision-making. Another mistake that increases risk unnecessarily is concentrating too much wealth in a single asset. Putting everything into one place, whether it's your primary home, the stock of the company you work for, or only cryptocurrencies, leaves you exposed. True financial stability comes from diversification. Spreading your money across different asset classes such as stocks through low-cost ETFs, bonds, real estate via REITs, and cash reserves creates a more resilient portfolio, capable of weathering economic storms. Finally, there's a simple but damaging habit that often goes unnoticed: leaving money parked in accounts that earn almost nothing. Keeping emergency savings or short-term funds in checking accounts or traditional savings earning close to zero means inflation is quietly eroding your purchasing power every month. The fix is straightforward: move that money into a high-yield savings account. These accounts are safe, accessible, and offer returns that help your money at least keep pace with inflation. At the core, all these financial mistakes are deeply human. We are influenced by emotions, routines, and subtle social pressures every day. The goal of this journey has never been perfection. It's conscious, consistent progress. Because in the end, the true purpose of money is not to reach an impressive number on a bank statement. A truly rich life is about using money for what it really is: a powerful tool to create freedom, security, and opportunities for yourself and for the people you care about. By recognizing and actively avoiding these common mistakes, you're not just protecting what you've already built. You're accelerating your entire journey, ensuring that every step you take is steady, intentional, and pointed in the right direction, toward your well-deserved financial independence. Conclusion: small steps create big freedom. As we reach the end of this video, there's one message I want you to walk away with. You don't need perfection. You don't need to have everything figured out. And you don't need to make huge, dramatic moves to change your financial life. What you really need is consistency. Financial independence is not built in a single decision. It's built in the small choices you repeat every day. How you spend, how you save, how you plan, and how you respond when things don't go perfectly. Progress doesn't come from doing everything right once. It comes from doing the right things often enough. You might feel behind. You might feel like others are moving faster than you. But the truth is, slow and steady progress beats intensity that fades after a few weeks. That's why small steps matter so much. They're sustainable. They're realistic. And over time, they compound into something powerful: freedom. Freedom from financial stress. Freedom from living paycheck to paycheck. Freedom to make choices based on what matters to you, not just what pays the bills. And here's the key idea to remember. You don't need a big break. You need a better system. A system that works quietly in the background. A system that doesn't rely on motivation, luck, or perfect timing. A system built on simple habits. Automated savings, controlled spending, patience, and long-term thinking. If you focus on building the right system, results will follow. Not overnight, but inevitably. If this video gave you clarity or motivation, take a second to like the video. It really helps the channel reach more people. If you're on your own journey toward financial independence, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment and share one small step you're committing to after watching this. And if you want more content like this, practical, honest, and focused on long-term progress, subscribe to the channel. Your support helps this content reach more people who are also trying to improve their financial lives, one small step at a time. Thank you for watching, and remember, small steps, done consistently, create big freedom. And I'll see you in the next video.